Hey friends, it's Blake with Birthing Babies. I am here launching a brand new podcast, Birthing Babies for Birth Workers. A lot of times it's exciting when we have a passion, but we're trying to get all of the pieces together to get that passion off the ground and let it become a business. And so I am here to help doula you through your birth business. I am here to coach you, to give you the support, to give you the real world advice, answer the questions you might have, the ones you didn't know you had, and the ones that you're still trying to figure out.
Hey friends, it's Blake with Birthing Babies for Birth Workers. I am here today to talk about identifying your ideal client avatar and why you even need one. So I would like to start this episode off by saying I have referenced an ideal client avatar in a number of our past episodes, and I realized that for those of you who haven't taken a class with me yet, you may not know what that ideal client avatar actually means. The ideal client avatar is also known as a buyer persona. Some people will use it as a marketing persona. This is the idea of creating an ideal client avatar is to help you hone in your marketing messages and to also make some business decisions starting off. Early in my career, I made my ideal client avatar and had certain assumptions on what would be appropriate for my ideal client avatar. I later learned that that was not the population that I was bringing into my classes, and I had the option to either rework my marketing message or accept the new ideal avatar that was presented to me and was joining my classes. I actually went with the latter, but if you are working with a specific population, this was a really good test to say, are we meeting our mark? Are we not meeting our mark? Before we talk any further about what an ideal client avatar is, I want to talk really quickly about what an ideal client avatar is not. Oftentimes when we start to identify the population that we are serving, it feels like we are excluding other populations. That is not what we are working towards. Most businesses will have some type of mission or goals determined before they begin or early on in that business development phase. This ideal client avatar is designed to help you meet those goals. This is something that is an industry standard and used throughout all marketing purposes. This is not something that is turning people away. This is not something that is loving on a student any less because they don't meet the ideal client avatar. This is just to get you started on your marketing messages and to help you create an authentic voice. The expectation is that we will not be discriminating against any person who attends our classes. We will love on them. We will welcome them with open arms. The biggest goal is to get people into the class. And this ideal client avatar, to identifying who that is and how to best reach them, is to help you get bottoms in your seats. So that is one of my number one goals as someone who trains childbirth educators, is to not only give you the tools that you need to teach the class, but to get you the students you need to actually have the class. And so we look at our ideal client avatar as a way to get people to enroll in our classes and join our classes. With all of that being said, I want to go in and talk about some of the benefits of identifying who your ideal client avatar is. One of the biggest benefits you're going to find is that it helps you to target your marketing message. It helps you understand what are the motivators for this person that you are trying to encourage to take your class, or for other birth workers, maybe hire you as a doula or attend another series or something that you're working with. Right? So what are their motivators? What are their needs in relationship to the services that you're providing? What do they need? What do they specifically look for that they may not find other places? Where are the holes? And the other thing is, what are challenges that they're likely facing or will be facing? So a lot of childbirth education is preparing for an event that's taking place months in advance. How to identify what challenges people may be up against in a way that helps them feel confident and comfortable in that birthing space. I cannot stress enough that the purpose of this is so that we can speak with an authentic voice. When we speak with an authentic voice, we're also serving our populations with an authentic voice. It is hard to be all the things for all the people. It is hard to teach in a way that all the people will find you to be the appropriate teacher for them. When we market to the person we truly are, we give people the opportunity to pick a teacher that is best for them. So playing up our strengths, looking at areas that we feel comfortable with. All of this is going to be an important area of identifying identifying our ideal client avatar. Once we figure out who our ideal client avatar is, we're going to use that information to really target the messaging that we put in our marketing materials, our print materials, if that's appropriate for our ideal client avatar. If they don't want print materials, how else can you reach them? Maybe we're looking at using QR codes that take you to your website instead of having a brochure that's going to go into their pocket or into the trash can. We're going to use that messaging that we determine is appropriate for our ideal client avatar on our website, and we're going to use it on social media. We'll take it one step further and say that we will know which social media outlets are going to be appropriate for our ideal client avatar once we identify who that person is. Social media has a very big footprint based on what generation you fall into, whether or not you're going to rely on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok for information. If we're trying to reach a younger population, we're going to look more towards TikTok. If we're reaching an older population, we're going to go more towards Facebook, and then somewhere in the middle is usually going to be Instagram. We're also going to use our ideal client avatar to determine aspects of how we teach and what we teach and all of those components. So what do you cover in your class? If your ideal client avatar is planning on having an induction, it may be more appropriate to look at safe ways to induce, considerations to take, how to keep people comfortable when it comes to induction than it would be to talk about going low intervention. If we know that our ideal client avatar is looking for a home birth, we won't spend a ton of time talking about hospital birth because hospital transfers are an important part of any home birth. We'll talk about hospital birth as it pertains to transferring from a home birth, but not in great detail. The same will go if we determine that our ideal client avatar is likely to birth in a hospital. We won't spend a great deal of time talking about out-of-hospital births. Location is going to be an important factor for your ideal client avatar also. If we've determined that our ideal client avatar most likely resides in one neighborhood, it would create difficulties to have our class location take place 45 minutes from that neighborhood. Time of day that the class is held and even the day that the class is held will be something that we'll want to take our ideal client avatar into consideration. So if our ideal client avatar is working in the retail industry, we probably will want to look at an earlier in the week, maybe Monday, Tuesday when things are less busy. We may want to do early morning classes or evening classes versus if we've got a ideal client avatar who is working 9 to 7. Well, maybe a weekend class is the only thing that's going to work for their schedule. So when are our ideal client avatars working? If they're working, we're going to use this information to determine how much to charge for our classes. If your ideal client avatar is looking for a 6-week class, then you're going to need to charge more than if your ideal client avatar is interested in a 3-hour weekend class. So what are we looking at in terms of availability to take the class? And what are we looking at in terms of disposable income to fund the class? So how do we personalize and determine exactly what the ideal client avatar is? I'm just going to go over some brief questions that are going to help you think, okay, yes, this is who my person is. So one of them may be, what do they do for a living? How much money do they make? Do they have a car? Are they in a city where public transportation is available to them? Where are they planning to deliver? Is this their first birth? Are they high risk or are they low risk? Have they decided whether or not they want to get an epidural? Answering all of these questions helps us to understand what are the motivators for this person and what exactly they're looking for. It also helps us to make some assumptions about where we can find them. So remember, we are creating an ideal client avatar in order to find clients and connect with those clients. So how are we getting referrals from other birth workers to our services? How would other people working with pregnant people know that you're the right educator for their current clients? Where is your ideal client avatar already spending time? If your ideal client avatar is very interested in fitness and health, then maybe you'll reach out to some prenatal exercise groups in your region. Perhaps your ideal client avatar is having a second child. Now you may want to look at pediatric offices or daycare centers. So where is your ideal client avatar already? One of the final parts of this is going to be, what is their name? Everything that we've done up until naming your ideal client avatar has narrowed them down, kind of funneling down. But there's still many people that will meet the characteristics of your ideal client avatar. Once we give them a name, it helps us to understand this is just one person. My ideal client avatar's name is Emily. She is just one person. But there are many people out there that have similar attributes to Emily, that feel strongly about similar things to Emily. But Emily is my ideal client avatar. I think when we add that name component to it, it helps us to understand we are not just seeking one population to serve, but we are trying to figure out exactly what this one fictitious person, or maybe it's based on a real person, is looking for in their childbirth classes and how we can give it to them. I'm going to, in the show notes, add a web page. I've created a fun little worksheet that helps you really hone in on who your ideal client avatar is. I hope this podcast has been helpful in understanding why we want an ideal client avatar, why this is going to be an important component. And please listen in to all the podcasts that have already gone out and the ones that are coming up to understand other ways that we can use our ideal client avatar. This is just a quick deep dive in helping you understand who is the population you're trying to serve and how can we speak to them authentically, or why we need to identify our ideal client avatar in the first place. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you are looking for more information like this, please check out our childbirth educator program with Birthing Babies. You can find details at teachlamaze.com. My name is Blake Heitzelser. I'm a childbirth educator, a fellow in the American College of Childbirth Educators, a birth doula, a prenatal yoga teacher, and a yoga teacher, and a children's yoga teacher, and all the fun things. Thanks for listening.